opening night of the Hahn Australia Cup is upon us, and with it comes the National Round's 119th and newest entrant. Queensland club Rochedale Rovers, they arrive in 2026 for their round of 32 debut, and where better to start than at home. Underwood Park, the venue for a day this club has dreamt of for many a year. The Rovers, they are finally under Australia's spotlight after 3 failed attempts at the final hurdle. They're a club renowned in Queensland for a formidable youth production pathway. They've produced names like Bratton, Vidicic, McNichol and North. But tonight the club are making their own name on the national stage. And it's a feeling their opponents, the SD Raiders, know well. The side representing Sydney's Southern Districts, they got their first taste of the Australia Cup last year, and they are back for more, fresh off a first ever promotion into NPL New South Wales. The Raiders players, they wanted an away day. The draw has delivered. Now it is up to them to see if they can uphold their end of the bargain with a national round win for the first time. It is a special night that awaits at Underwood Park for 2 community clubs south of their respective capital cities. One to remember regardless of results. Welcome to the Australia Cup, to Rochedale Rovers and to Underwood Park. And welcome to you if you're watching at home for night 1 of the Australia Cup. "777 clubs, a record number, started the journey. Back at the start of the year, we have whittled it down to the national round. 32 teams, 31 games to come over the next couple of months. Months in which Rochedale Rovers and SD Raiders will be hoping they can make a deep run to the Cup. Rochedale here for the first time. SD making back-to-back trips to the top flights. Both of them united in an ambition to secure a first ever national round goal and win this evening. Let's get into the lineups for either side. Rochdale's inaugural starting 11 contains no less than 9 former club juniors, including 17-year-old Aidan Courtney, who starts tonight despite only making his NPL debut 11 days ago. 35-year-old veteran Luke Borrian recently came out of retirement to sign for the Rovers. He is a veteran of 4 Australia Cup campaigns. And up top, keep an eye out on the Client brothers, Novak and Obrin, the latter of whom is Rochdale's top scorer with 16 goals across the league and cup this season. Well, for the SD Raiders, Goran Luboya names 8 of the players who took to the field in the round of 32 last year against MacArthur Bulls in his 11 tonight. Noah Kianese, who is the brother of former A-League star Joel, gets his first start since returning from injury, a welcome boost to lead the line up front. And the danger duo in midfield is SD junior Luke Knezovic and Marty Fernandez. They're 2 top scorers across the 2026 season. Well, head coach Scott McNichol for the Rochdale Rovers. He is the second of 3 generations of one of Rochdale's royal families. His dad, the former technical director, his brother, a championship-winning player, his son Quinn, a club junior before going on to the A-League, and he himself started here at the club at age 4, and now at 43. A few more fitting to take them to the national round. So there's your refs for this evening. Mackenzie James in charge tonight. His assistants James Sherry and Bailey Jacobson. 4th official Rachel Solomon. That's the officiating crew in charge tonight. And from one club legend in the dugout to another, SD Raiders coach Goran Luboya. He was coached out of retirement 10 years ago by Socceroo Nicky Carl. It was a conversation that kick-started a journey to captaincy, coaching, and now leading his club to back-to-back Australia Cup national rounds and the top flight of NPL New South Wales for the first time. 2 clubs with a real rich community flavour, brimming with brilliant stories. It is the kind of evening that the Australia Cup is all about. And it is why Rochdale Rovers have been so keen to join the party over recent years. They have been a game away in the preliminary rounds before, but there's no waiting anymore. The round of 32 underway in Rochdale, and underway for the Rochdale Rovers and SD Raiders. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in from this evening. Underwood Park in Queensland looking splendid for this one. The first under 32 game for the Rovers, second for the Raiders, that has come at an interesting time for the both of them, each in slightly middling form in their respective league campaigns. Raiders sitting in 10th, Rochdale 9th in a 12-team competition. Both of them just the one win in their last 5 games. There'll be no better time to change the fortunes than here at Underwood Park, which has turned out a spectacle for this long-awaited night. Great crowd inside the grandstands and along the fence as well. Here's SD Raiders captain James Letter, a number who have been with the Raiders for over 5 seasons. This has Cooper Hannigan on the ball here. They may have lacked, respectively, this season, Rochdale and SD, in consistent league form. Obviously been solid in the cup. You've got to win all your games to get here. They've lacked inconsistency. They've made up for in entertainment. Goals galore in their respective games this season. Hopefully, that is a trend that continues into this evening. Will be the visitors from Sydney's Southern Districts to get a first potential opportunity here through an early set piece. Chet McHugh-Shaw, the man tasked with the delivery. Headed forward by Harry Talbot. One of those 9 club juniors mentioned in the lead-up. It's been 8 years here as a junior player before moving away to join Brisbane Roar and Central Coast Mariners youth ranks. Kinese has it taken off him by Josh Morland, and now Knezevic wheels away. SD Raiders are going to get the first cup win. I suspect Luka Knezevic being one of the key instigators. He's been one of their better players in the local league this season. Looked to have come off the hands of Marty Fernandez, and indeed, that is the exact judgment made by referee Mackenzie James. He's had plenty of work to do so far in the early minutes. Roberts not too pleased with the attention received that time around from Chet McHugh-Shaw. Spoke to Colin Laboya, his head coach, earlier today, and quizzed him as to which players he was particularly watching out for. He was quick to mention the pace of 23-year-old Mitchell Roberts down the right. His Golden Boots winner last year when they secured their return to the top flight of Queensland football by finishing top 2 in FQPL. 2 teams on the rise in their respective states. This is Lockie McGrath. James Letter. Pushing it out to Cooper Hannigan. They do enjoy getting their fullbacks up and involved. This time Hannigan elects for retreat. Thomas Mako. Lost by Rochdale's star striker this season, Aubryn Clyach. Patrietta Jr., who himself was playing in New South Wales last year in the Australian Championship with the Wollongong Wolves. Letta has made that switch look very good. Chianese has returned the ball wonderfully. Letta driving an early opportunity in. And Luka Knežević just could not get his feet sorted to add another to his 2026 tally. Chianese back to Hannigan. Well judged by Luke Borien, the 35-year-old. Great to see him back in the national spotlight again. Living legend in Queensland football. 150 appearances and 5 trophies with 5 NPL trophies with Lions FC. You recognise him from those days. He did used to wear a beanie as a in-game superstition. Ditched that in the present day. He's young Aiden Courtney, 17 years of age. Rochedale's SAP program in the under-12s. Many who are enjoying a special night this evening. Q Shaw. There's a nice pass through the lines to feed the feet of Lockie McGrath. Chianese. Down for Knežević. The young Steve Raiders junior product. Still coming up to the pace of the game so far this evening. Letta the cool head back to Michael Figueira.
Too easy, Novak!
Klajic for the knockdown to Max Sabados. Knežević. Get his feet sorted this time. Yes, he can. Hannigan. Chianese makes the run further afield. It will head there, and will it drop for an SD Raiders player? The answer is no. Talbot comes away with the ball. To launch the counter for Rochedale. And it is looking good. Josh Morland marching forward with Roberts inside. Will Morland look to go it alone? He will. This can only draw Figueira into a fairly comfortable save in the end. One of 14 players for Rochedale tonight who are making their first appearance in the big time. National round of 32. Scott McNichol has really enjoyed the do-or-die nature of the cup this season. It's going to be pulled back for a earlier infringement on Luka Knežević. That Klajic, the guilty party.
Stay in front. Stay in front.
This is the chance earlier for Josh Morland. Did everything right up until that point. Just didn't catch it on the right. Here's the free kick from McHugh Shaw. High up and under. Drops down and safety first. The judgment from Max Sabados. Touches it out for the first corner of the evening. Luke Borien will have to marshal his troops for some set-piece defending. And they kept 2 clean sheets in NPL Queensland this season. Rochedale, bit of tighter ship in the cup, mind you. Defending to do here. The corner up, under, and over. For another SD Raiders corner on the other side. Fascinating character. Luke Borien mentioned the pre-game superstition. He turned up to play NPL Queensland semi-final on the same day as his wedding, turned up in the tuxedo. In a luxury car. Clearly a lover of the game. Can come out of retirement as well. Shaw's corner, direct and dangerous. Borien able to smother it after a couple of nibbles. Just to launch it long for the lightning pace of Mitchell Roberts. Gets himself in a bit of a tangle with Seb Malfarah. Dern, Rovers captain, across to Dominic Horwood. Dern, captain at just 22 years of age. His 4th year as a Rochedale Rovers player. Has been part of both of their promotions into the top flight. They made the grade for the first time in 2023 and then yo-yoed straight back up after relegation at the end of the 2024 season. Courtney, helped of the ball, well shielded by Talbot to deal with the on-rushing threat of Marty Fernandez. Sabados to Dern, who received the football a little hot in return, did Max Sabados. So SD Raiders took the bulk of possession in the opening 10. Rochdale perhaps having a spell of their own. Flicked forward in the direction of Auburn Klajic. Nothing doing for star scorer so far this season. They did flag Rovers' susceptibility defensively this season, particularly in the league. Been very tight ship in their run to qualify for the round of 32 for the first time. Actually haven't conceded a goal since their opening qualifying game all the way back in Feb against Noosa Lions. Nearly 300 minutes since they last conceded a goal in the cup. Contrast, it wasn't that long ago that SD Raiders played a 7-3 in preliminary rounds against Albion Park. So two sides who can throw up very different kinds of football when required across the course of this season. Knocked on its way by Auburn Klajic to younger brother Novak. Novak actually returned to Rochdale to rejoin his brother in the mid-season window. Scored 2 cracking goals against Gold Coast Knights on his debut. The second of which was a absolute screamer. Who played back to Borien. League up and under from the Queensland veteran. A miscommunication between Mako and McHugh-Shaw. Farah. Knocked away by the towering figure of Horwood. And back the other way pretty quickly though. Lifted into the box, dealt with by Dern. Marty Fernandez wriggles one way, then the other. Tries to link up with his fellow midfield maestro, Luka Knezovic. To get up a little earlier than that to confound the veteran presence of Luke Borien. Courtney trying to squeeze the space with his opposite number in off the ground. Watching the exuberance of youth just boiling over. Another one who's been part of the furniture at SD Raiders. It's a club that seems to pull people in and make them want to stay. The Raiders, of course, the representative club of the Southern Districts Football Association, comprising of over 30 clubs in the south of Sydney. Community feel, and with the loyalty some of their players display, that is certainly evidence of that fact. Roberts will get it at the second time of asking. Clyage making an enterprising run, and the ball travels there. Their star man, Clyage, teeing it up. Moreland, another chance for Rochedale. The answer's yes. And a dream starts to their round of 32 debut, denied by the offside flag. Auburn Clyage tapped into an empty net, thought he'd scored his 17th of the season. Only to see the shake of the head from Mackenzie James. It was brilliant transitional play from the Rovers. Clyage started it, Moreland did the unselfish thing, looking to feed Novak Clyage. And when Raiders watch the replay, Clyage probably was offside, but they'll be left to rue that profligate touch from Mitchell Roberts, who was standing there with the goal gaping. Unsurprising from a player who has regularly shown the finishing touch. Close to 90 senior appearances for Rochedale. This round of 32 tie has just sparked to life at Underwood Park. People regard it as one of the best facilities, certainly one of the best pitches in the state in their view. Supporting us some nice passing football so far. Two teams who tend to enjoy doing exactly that. Nice release down the left side for SD. Easy pickings for Ollie Dern. Malfara gets his boot behind it. Warms the gloves of Luke Borrian. Actually, former A-League coach in Warren Moon, who to coax Borrian out of the woodwork for Rochdale. Of course, personal friend of Scott McNichol, Warren Moon, of course. He and Borrian, close associates in their halcyon years at Lions. Thomas Mako. Farah, a scooping pass, well intentioned, but led all the way by Novak Clyage. Under the cosh from Cooper Hannigan, the pressure doesn't quite pay. Manages to find his brother in a situation where the odds were otherwise against him. Nice turn from Talbot. And it's a miscue from the shore, and off the line comes Michael Figuera. Big appeals from the raucous home support. No whistle arrives from Mackenzie James. Side are starting to feel the lift. The home crowd getting behind them. You can hear the fervent rise that goes up in the grandstand every time there's even an inkling of a chance. Exactly the sort of support they would have asked for on an occasion such as this. Courtney. Blaster from the youngster, trying to atone for his error. Does bring down Luka Knezovic. A free kick coming that hasn't gone down all too well. Those of a Rochdale persuasion. Cooper Hannigan. feeds the run of the captain, James Letter. Letter with a nice check back and a second crack. Fernandez will have to contend himself with a corner. And a chance for the visitors to give the host something fresh to think about in the last few minutes. It's the big call. Roberts went to ground with his arm locked alongside McHugh Shaw. Question of Figuera cleaning him out on the rush forward. Courtney did get a bit of the ball, but helping hand to bring Knežević to ground too. For plenty of entertaining games, even if they haven't won too many this season, Rochedale. Showing that in the big time too. Leaders corner, watched all the way by Borrian. Pickings for a man of his caliber. He's progressed to the round of 16 twice. Dealt by A-League opposition on both occasions with Lions. Kind of caliber Rochedale will be thinking about a bit to the future rounds, as will SD, but plenty still to be decided here. Novak Klajic. To Moreland, he goes down. The first card of the evening coming out in the 22nd minute mark. Was bang on. Seb Malfarra, the SD Raiders super veteran. An early ticket to think about. Far the Raiders' most tenured player. 9 years at Ernie Smith Reserve. Forward. Josh Moreland felt the pressure. The white shirts that closed in every direction for the comfort of Rochedale's defensive line. Knezovic. Chance brewing here potentially for the visiting Raiders. Kinese robbed of the opportunity by some alert defending from Dom Horwood. Danger not dealt with though fully by the Rovers. Hannigan's ball in was an enterprising one, but yellow shirts first to it. Nice control from Marty Fernandez. That's really quality from the former Blacktown and Marconi man. 7 goals for him this season. Nice feed for Chianese. Forward to Charlie Ragg. Showing defence holding firm at the present moment. Hannigan. It's an interesting game state here. A few minutes of utter freneticism. Panic stations at both ends. Rochedale will settle into a rhythm. Oh, here's a chance though, Malfara. Knezovic. Saw the headlines. His eyes perhaps there. His game so far, Luka Knezovic, most of them, the SD Raiders have been at their best this season, have been for the 20-year-old. Spent many of his junior years here, returned as a senior player last year when the Raiders were in their push for promotion out of League One, South Wales third tier. Spent time in the ranks of Western Sydney Wanderers youth. Waiting for a ball here at Underwood Park. Usually the Australia Cup is the hottest ticket in town for any aspiring ball boy. Just took a little bit of time on this particular occasion. Back underway through Hannigan. Inside to Knezovic, looks to get his boot behind it, and that is more like it, but still wide from the Raiders' young gun. You can see why he scored 5 from midfield this year. He does not show a lack of interest in shooting. Starting to get the radar in. This time a year ago, it's the Raiders at the Fairfield Showgrounds. They were already a couple of goals behind against the Mites of MacArthur. They're up to their necks in this one and building. Chianese cross in, but not really home. Difficult task in the end for Dominic Horwood. Numbers favouring SD. That of Charlie Ragg. For Michael Figuera. Been a certain settling in the last few minutes of that aggression and nippiness that was creeping into the game with a few contentious calls. Doesn't matter what code, there is always an extra bit of feeling when New South Wales and Queensland meet. Though in truth, it doesn't happen as often as you might expect in the Australia Cup. It's just the 6th game between teams from the top flight of New South Wales and Queensland since the Cup started back in 2014. South Wales with 3 wins to Queensland's 2. Incredibly, in just 5 games, 2 of those involved the club from Cairns and the same opponent, Sydney United and Far North Queensland. Rochdale's defence does its job, and they're looking to move things swiftly as they have been when these pockets have opened up. Josh Morland, can he pull the strings to effect this time? Novak Klajic robbed of the football nicely by Thomas Mako. Knežević. Raiders roam, but forlornly. See plenty of the ball for Knežević. Be keen to extract more from those windows of opportunity as the game goes on. So they won't begrudge him. Taking the ball by the horns. Mako. Knežević. Showing a willingness to drift across the front line to help build the attacks for SD. Gordon Luboya's men just settling into a patch of possession. Knežević measures the cross, and the acrobatic attempt from Marty Fernandez offline, but he does have that in the locker. Especially with a deft cross like that from Knežević, could have been quite the start to night 1 of the Australia Cup for 2026. Pedigree, Marty Fernandez, he scored a blinder of a goal against Melbourne City, no less, in the round of 16, 7 years ago, and he was still a Marconi Stallions player. Ollie Dern. There's a lot of questions as to, particularly from internally, Coach Scott Nicol, as to how this, such a young side filled with products of the pathway, would take to the task of the pressure of the national stage. They have acquitted themselves very well inside the opening 33 minutes. And before Luke Borrian's arrival, Owen Ashton in midfield, the number 6, who's just launched the ball into the night sky, was the oldest player at 25.
Go, Novak! Go, Novak! Good! Body!
Slow start to Klajic, went down too easily in the judgments of the referee, so no whistle arrived. Younger brother Novak in to break it up. Now an opening perhaps for Obren, but shielded really nicely by James Letta.
Go!
Hannigan. Player in his lineup who can lay claim to footballing experience in Queensland, a short stint Peninsula Power. Will this drop for Courtney? The 17-year-old just puts a bit too much mustard on the pass to feed the onrushing and keen Obren Klajic. Incredibly, scored 39% of Rochedale's goals this year. The cut and thrust of the midfield battle on full display, unrelenting from Thomas Mako. Knocked a bit of wind out of the sails of a player who always looks like he has plenty in Mitchell Roberts. That's not the pass you want to misplace, or not the place where you want to misplace a pass, right on the grandstand side. He's an SD Raiders player, Underwood Park quick to let Jed McHugh Shaw know all about it. Still waiting for our opening goal across both games, night 1 of the Australia Cup. Double Queensland against New South Wales affair, of course. Apia taking on the league leaders, Peninsula Power. Alfara. Line to Knežević. Towards the run of Letta. One back by Josh Morland, but gives it back just as quickly as he won it. Knežević, is this his moment? Yes, it is! And the Raiders rise on the national stage with their first ever goal. And few players are more fitting than one of the products of their junior pathway in Luka Knežević. And the first goal of the Australia Cup in 2026 is one to savour. And it's one that hands the visiting SD Raiders the lead. It just dropped for Knežević. And after all those opportunities spurned, that one was not to slip him by. A piece of beauty from the 20-year-old midfield star. And Australia Cup scoring in 2026. Off with a bang. How about the swerve on that from Luka Knežević? Goal number 6 of the season for him. And his sweetest yet in an SD Raiders shirt. And the hordes of junior players in Moorebank potentially watching at Ernie Smith Reserve this evening will be watching what they've just seen and thinking, well, one day that could be me. From the under-13s to the senior team and making history on the national stage. And now Rochedale Rovers left with work to do. Turn under pressure from Marty Fernandez. Pressure pays. The Raiders would love to double their money in quick succession. A game that's just felt like it was going to be a closely fought contest. The opening goal is also critical, not least because between them, these two sides have only lost one game after scoring the opening goal of a match. Conversely for Rochedale, the game where they've conceded first this year ended in a loss, all 11 of them. So they're going to need to draw on a bit of cup magic to get back in this one, but they will have the fans behind them, and they have the quality on the park. See the likes of Clyde, she was all back by Knežević. Owen Ashton. To pull the strings at the base of midfield in his first season back at Cobre's footballing journey. Started as a 6-year-old. He's only 25, but does have a good portion of experience in the Australia Cup in years gone by. Made the quarterfinals with Heidelberg back in 2023. Scored in the round of 16 against the New South Wales side in the Druitt Town Rangers, now known as Western City. It's an askew clearance that actually stays in play to the advantage of Rochedale. Aubryn Clyde in a deeper pocket. Good touch from the teenager, Aidan Courtney. Forward. This is more like it from Rochedale.
Moving the ball! Move it!
Ball comes from the bench to keep it moving. Courtney obliges. No Novak Klajic. That opening goal shift the shape of this game. It feels as though Raiders have settled straight into a solid defensive block, setting the challenge for Rochedale to break it down. Sabados. Roberts.
Go! Go!
This is really nice build-up play from Rochedale, broken up by Earnest defending from Thomas Mako. Numbers are against them in terms of conceding first this year, Rochedale, but I know that SD Raiders present a defence that is certainly breachable. Clean sheets in the last 6 games for the Raiders. Conceded more than just about every other team in NPL New South Wales this season. Sydney Olympic, the only side who have shipped more. It's gone out of play on the opposite side. Will pick himself up a throw. One back by Rochedale. Scott McNichol's side in search of an additional gear. Obrin Klajic. He and his brother, very well travelled, used to play for the same team in Singapore, the Lion City Sailors. They've had stints in Serbia as well. Talbot on the march. Courtney to the right-hand side. Out of danger by Letta. Captain stands up. Dern. Couple of minutes left to go in this first half. Rochedale's round of 32 debut, quite going as they'd hoped just yet, but there is still time to change that. They could change it here. Klajic. He's got dynamite in the boots, but a little bit too cute that time. That was quality from Kianese. And the Raiders could be marauding here. Hannigan. Just for the paucity of options, the fullback who found himself really far forward. Roberts now. Big opportunity for Rochedale, brilliantly defended by Jet McHugh-Shaw. 21-year-old defender, you would know it from looking at his frame. Stood tall in the face of the danger man, Mitchell Roberts. Mako. Knezovic. Kianese. Again, as Raiders have settled into a defensive shape, they've had to sit back, and it can be a very good transitional team at times, particularly down the flanks. So those last couple of plays, they've got a little bit short in terms of really numbers and runners. Kianese was forced into such a hopeful effort. Novak Klajic. Talbot. A great source of goals in the cup this season has the 24-year-old midfielder. 3 of his goals for the season have come in the cup, including a goal that sealed their progression to the national rounds, the 3rd and final against Caboolture. Don't be fooled by the 1 and the 0. We're not going into 10 minutes of first half stoppage time. It is just the 1. And there would be neutral watchers who would take 10 more minutes of this football. We've still got 45 to play. Dern dallies, but good intention. Oh, that is very cheeky from Mitchell Roberts. It's going on the highlight reel. Courtney. Talbots. Rochedale finishing this half well. Could they finish it with an equaliser? Well saved by Figuera, who is up to the task of denying Josh Morland again. And while the Raiders are, of course, to be the side who go to the break in the lead, it is Rochedale Rovers who have created the game's best chances. Another here through Morland, this time on the left foot.
That is the end of the first half.
Still
here
cannot
at AIS Arena.
get the beating
Score
of Michael
as it stands,
Figuera.
Rochdale 0, Southern Districts 1.
That Rochedale Rovers will be looking to change in the second half, because as things stand, it is SD Raiders in their sophomore Australia Cup campaign on course to go through. The halftime score, Rochdale 0, SD Raiders 1.
Any person who does
The world's biggest teams are here.
Incredible stuff. Look at this atmosphere in here, it's unbelievable.
To face the best of the A-Leagues. All in one place.
That is champagne football.
The Winter Festival of Football starts July 26 on Paramount Plus.
In their sophomore season of cup football, courtesy of Luka Knežević. It's the Raiders who lead, but Rochedale have shown plenty of attacking intent and created some great chances. This an early sighter from Josh Morland that perhaps could have been more, as the highlights package will display. Well, it's SD Raiders with the lead. Rochedale have been the team cutting their opposition open. They thought they were the team that took the lead through their top scorer, Obran Klajic. The offside flag denying him, alongside Michael Figueira's solid keeping to deny his brother with the initial effort. Obran Klajic was absolutely distraught, to say the least. The chances did not die there, though. It was a game that did have nippiness as well. Seb Malfarah, the Raiders veteran, going into the book just 20 minutes into this match. So a tightrope he will continue to walk in the second 45. But the Raiders, when they had their opportunities, they took them. Luka Knežević had a few siders from range go well wide. That one was right on the money. And SD Raiders' first goal on the national stage. An absolute beauty. You can watch that reverse angle many a time. It was one of their graduates of the junior system. They got the job done, but it could have been level at the break if Josh Morland could have sorted his feet and driven the ball past Michael Figueira, who, in fairness, positioned his body well and large to deny the Rochedale midfielder.
There will be a minimum of 1 minute.
It's been a game of efficiency. The SD Raiders have got the job done in so far. It's New South Wales sides leading both of the opening rounds fixtures. Apia Leichhardt 1-0 ahead against the Queensland ladder leaders Peninsula Power. And plenty more football to come your way tomorrow. Marlin Coast Rangers, the club from Cairns, make their debut on the national round tomorrow against Brunswick Juventus from Victoria. And a tasty affair in Adelaide coming up tomorrow when FK Beograd take on the North Sunshine Eagles, another new arrival to the national stage from the lower tiers of Victorian football. Plenty to look forward to across the round of 32 in the Australia Cup. And plenty to look forward to on the other side of the break here at Underwood Park, where those fans at home will be hoping that Rochedale can find an equaliser that could set us up for extra time and penalties, all to play for on the other side of the break.
The Australia Cup round of 32 is here. Don't miss 4 epic matches headlined by A-League's best, live and exclusive. Kicks off with Preston Lions versus Newcastle Jets, only on Paramount Plus.
After going goalless on their round of 32 debut, SD Raiders had to wait a whole year to get a chance to pop the cork. And didn't they do it in style? Luka Knežević with a bolt from the blue. And the junior product of the Southern District system has handed the side from Sydney's top flight a lead in this opening night's round of 32 clash between Rochedale Rovers and the SD Raiders. In round of 16 beckons for the side from Sydney's Southern Districts. But there is still plenty to play out here at Underwood Park. The home side themselves making their Australia Cup opening bow this evening. Be looking to build on a first half of promise and profligacy. They created the best chances of the game, but couldn't take them. If they can get that right, then their round of 32 dream will still be more than alive. It is SD Raiders with the advantage. But don't be fooled by the scoreline. There is still a game that hangs firmly in the balance at Underwood Park. Of course, an equalising goal for Rochedale would not be enough. It'll take us to an extra 30 minutes of football, potentially to penalties. It's the danger that SD Raiders, on the away day that they've dreamt of, will be looking to avoid as the visitors with the lead get us underway in the second half. 45 minutes of football and maybe more to decide the first of tonight's two round of 16 entrants. Be intriguing to see how this match ebbs and flows out of the second 45. SD Raiders, after taking their lead through Luka Knežević on the 36th minute, really sat back, except for one major chance falling the way of Josh Morland. It was a period in which Rochedale found that back line a little tricky to breach. 44 goals conceded across 27 games this year. SD Raiders looking to double their money, but that's rather telegraphed from Knežević. Harry Talbot has found a way to keep the ball. Gave it away on the pass. That's a shame. One that deserved more. These two sides this season, you do come to expect multiple goals in games, so don't think the scoring is done in this game in any stretch. So 3 goals or more in 19 of Rochdale's 22 games across League and Cup this season. 16 for SD Raiders, so two teams who score them and give them up. Malfarra took a touch. So the visiting Raiders will get themselves an early corner in the second half as they look to extend their advantage. So a clearance into the away corridor of uncertainty. Player who can get their boot behind the ball. Seb Malfarra, certainly a player who can do that. His last goal back on the 6th of September last year, a great goal from outside the box in the promotion relegation playoff against the Central Coast Mariners that sent them to the top flight. Here comes the corner and headed in. And the Raiders do double their money right out of the break. What a start for the side from Sydney South to the second 45. Malfarra's delivery.
Goal to Southern Districts Raiders.
Finding its way into the back of the net.
Raiders 2, Rochdale 0.
It's come off a Rochdale head, it looks, in the end. Novak Klajic appears to be the player who was unsighted. Still plenty of football to be played, but the Raiders one step further to the round of 16. You can hear the vigorous roars from the touchline from Scott McNichol and his coaching staff about the slightly absentee defending from the corner, a situation that definitely could have been avoided. They get one back straight away. They lift the Underwood Park crowd into an uproar. We'll change the tune quite a bit. It's quite got the facial expression you'd expect of a coach whose side have just gone 2-0 clear, Goran Laboya. Usually watches the game from atop a scaffold for home games. Ernie Smith prefers the vantage point and the silence. From the touchline tonight as Michael Figuera has gone down in the box. Roberts unimpressed. The drop from 27-year-old goalkeeper who's been in and out of the starting fold this year, Owen Ashton. His ball in is not a bad one either. Figuera flaps. And luck falls the side of the Raiders. A similar situation with an own goal at one end. Dropped right at the feet of the Raiders defensive unit at the other. Ashton, an inventive bender. That will fall to Clyde. Talbot. Good news about conceding so early into the second half is that plenty of time remains on offer for Rochedale Rovers. You want to get your work done, start getting it done sooner rather than later. The Raiders have only lost once this season after taking the lead. It was a 2-0 lead that they coughed up in round 6 of the NPL season. 4-3 loss to St George City. Well judged by Thomas Mako. Chianese fashions a really clever pass for Lockie McGrath, who's launched himself forward out of defence. Back to Chianese. Malfara tried to play the little neat pass to Knežević, but the touch all important. Given up just as quickly as it was won in Rochdale's midfield. Charlie Ragg with the capacity for distance shooting. Chianese, not a bad ball. Well past the reach of Luka Knežević. Another look at the insurance policy. Second goal that SD Raiders have got. And yeah, Novak Klajic didn't know much about it. He was expecting it to flash across the box. Instead it flashed against the back of his head. Not had fortune on their side so far, the Rovers. To recapture the cut and thrust they showed in fits and starts throughout the first half.
Here we go!
It's a nice ball over the top for Chianese. He stayed on side too. Chianese, the defensive duo of Rochdale do enough. He would have loved to chip in. Starting return from injury for Chianese. Only 3 games he's played since April as he's battled a persistent hamstring injury. Hannigan. I'm too happy to let that go out for a corner. Why not? It's proved such a profitable phase for them just seconds into the second half. Rochedale Rovers will do well to heed the warning of set pieces passed. 2 is doable, but 3 is quite the mountain. And they'll need to be on their guard. So the corner ball of Jet McHugh-Shaw. The time they do deal with it through Ollie Dern. And the Raiders make something of it in the second phase. The lifter. Chianese in an offside position, so it's bailouts for the Rochedale defence. Rochedale have not enjoyed a come-from-behind win since August last year. 3-2 win against Logan Lightning back when they were in the promotion push in FQPL. Oh, that's a good push from Aidan Courtney. Figuera well off the line and snuffs out the danger. And you can see the warning from the keeper, just tapping the side of their head. Keep switched on. This game, especially if Rochedale were to score, it's not a sure thing. Fernandez picks off. Klajec, Rochdale's super goal scorer, can't add to his tally that time. Did the ball on the blind side nicely by Lockie McGrath. He switched on after that bit of carelessness that nearly slipped in. Aidan Courtney. They'll have upped their ante, undoubtedly. In it comes from Owen Ashton. Steve Reader heads with the ball once, twice, and a third time through Lockie McGrath. Chianese trying to play the switch without a head check. The pressure has paid. Malfara finds Hannigan inside. Cooper Hannigan laying it off. And the Raiders making the most of that opportunity. Chianese past the feet of Fernandez, and Josh Moore in the forwards, the cool head that was required to Rochdale's rear guard. So far, this is proving to be a trip worth the money for SD Raiders. Gordon Boyer told me that the players have split the proceeds of making the trip 50-50 with the club. They've tipped in their own fine money, which usually gets used for an end-of-season trip, to not only make sure that they can play this evening, but more specifically make sure that the whole squad can be a part of this away day that they have yearned for. In addition to their 18 players tonight, SD Raiders have got 8 additional players who have not made the squad, who have just come for the journey and the chance to be part of a nice bonding trip up to Queensland. So 26 Raiders players in total here at Underwood Park tonight. That is a testament to the strength and character and culture that's been cultivated at Ernie Smith. Charlie Ragg SD Raiders moving with a bit more freedom in the second half. Not this time though. Sabados marshals the ball out of play for a corner. Chianese has made himself a really inconvenient thorn in the side of the Rovers' defence. It's what they've been lacking in their recent dry spell of results. SD Raiders a clear focal point to lead the line. He's not scored. Chianese has definitely added that. It's a profitable previous delivery from Alfara. This one away by Borien. Hannigan. Thumping switch. Farah just stops and props and lets the ball fall to his feet. Nice angled pass. Chianese offside. Bringing to an end what would have otherwise been an enticing chance for an effort on goal. Just the one offside for SD Raiders so far. Two for Rochedale, but one of them very painful and punishing. And Klajic thought that he'd given his side the lead inside the opening 20 minutes. Half an hour to go at Underwood Park. Is it going to be disappointment on debut for Rochedale Rovers? Scotland Nicol has been left to lament this year. Games where they've been competitive but haven't taken their chances. Is this another night where they will feel that bite? Hannigan. Comes into a corner by Rochdale's defensive unit. Now Farah able to return the favour. And SD Raiders feeling like they're the side with the legs. It's a longer league season in New South Wales, so they have played 5 more games to this point of the year. 30 rounds in New South Wales regular season, plus finals, if you can believe that. Palm of apology stretched out from Thomas Mako. He was at Sydney United last year, but didn't feature in the Australia Cup, making up for the lost time this season. Hannigan strings the ball back to Knezovic. Deflection. It was initially looking uncomfortable for Luke Borien. Feeds the football out quickly. Too much of it shown, though, to Thomas Mako. Now Farah. Nice touch inside. And the shots just not dipping in time for the SD stalwarts. To wonder these two sides will look to turn to their respective benches. There is attacking reinforcements for the Raiders should they require. And for the Rovers as well. The Raiders have got a couple of players still on the injury comeback trail that they'll have to manage too. One, Noah Chianese. We want to add another to the list as Luka Knezovic goes down. Hear what the partisan crowd think of the trip to the turf from Luka Knezovic. He's going to have the last laugh as it stands. SD Raiders have got a lot to thank him for this season. He scored one of the 2 goals that sent the Raiders to the national rounds in a 2-1 win against Wollongong United. Actually sealed their progression in stoppage time. Thrilling circumstances at Ernie Smith Reserve. Knezovic. Farah making the run forward. That is where the ball travels. Marshalled that time. The frustrating facet of the game at the moment for Rochedale is that they are snuffing out raids from SD forward, and usually giving the ball straight back. McHugh-Shaw. A bit awkward and uncomfortable for Kianese, who you could see dropping back. Will be the 64th minute at which we get the first substitution of the evening.
Coming off, number 14, Noah Kianese.
Suspected.
Coming on, number 19, Riley Cox-Barlow.
Noah Kianese, who is making just his second game back from injury. He's run hard today, but the hour and 4-minute mark is his end to the night. On comes Riley Cox-Barlow, the 22-year-old, who is actually the Raiders' top scorer in the Cup this year with 3 goals.
Tuition for Rochedale Rovers. Coming on,
rounds.
number 13, Anton Alexenko, replacing number 17, Max Sabados.
First change made by Scott McNichol. Anton Alexenko on in place of Max Sabados. Alexenko in his second season back at Rochedale Rovers, having made his senior debut here back in 2021. And here's an opportunity for the fleet-footed Mitchell Roberts. Alexenko on the shoulder. Roberts still going, goes to ground. Penalty coming for Rochedale Rovers. And the lightning feed of Mitchell Roberts has presented the home side with a glorious chance to twist the fortunes of this game. It was all done off his own back. Just continued to marshal forward, and Lockie McGrath stepped in. He thought it was shoulder to shoulder. Mackenzie James judging otherwise, and Mitchell Roberts is rewarded for his run with a spot kick for the National Cup debutants and a chance for their first ever goal in the Australia Cup. Question is, who will be the player tasked with taking it? At the present moment, it's a brotherly battle between Novak Klajic and Obran Klajic, the top scorer this season. For who will take the penalty? Michael Figuera just trying to instigate a couple of delayed tactics, and in the end, it's neither brother. It's going to be Harry Talbot. 3 goals for him in the Cup this year, including from the spots against Capalaba. And he'll do it again on the national rounds. Scored Rochdale's first ever NPL goal in 2022 from the spot. Can he score their first goal in the Australian Cup? Yes, he does! Lift off at Underwood Park for Rochdale Rovers. And Harry Talbot, just as he did upon Rochdale's arrival to the NPL, scores their first goal in a new competition. To the right he went, so too did Figuera. The power and placement enough to set up 20-odd minutes of grandstand finish football on night 1 of the Australia Cup. And now the bit is between the teeth of the Underwood Park crowd, who surged behind the goal to get the front row seat to that penalty. And they were rewarded for their swift movements by Harry Talbot. And the question is, can they find another? Juniors are loving it. They've seen one of their own step up and score on the national stage. Harry Talbot's spent 8 years in Rochedale's junior ranks. Two proud community clubs. It'll be very pleasing for both of them that it is former juniors, junior success stories who have scored their first ever goal in the national rounds. Credit must go to another of them as well in Mitch Roberts. He's jet-like. His trip towards goal that ultimately won the penalty. Be among the fastest players in Queensland football. Searcher from Rochedale, but no one home. Strap in. Are you watching at home at Underwood Park, or maybe at Ernie Smith Reserve if you're from SD Raiders? It is a big final 20 to come. This NPL Queensland v NPL New South Wales clash. The third for SD Raiders would take a bit of the sting out of it. Past the reach of Fernandez. Ross takes a touch and heads out for a corner. Raiders have racked them up in the second half. Marches Jet McHugh Shaw. To take SD Raiders' 6th corner of the game. Flat from McHugh Shaw. And touched out of play. Charlie Ragg. They've made very little of that one in the end. Delicately poised here at Underwood Park. And the Raiders pushing forward. Cox Barlow offside. A moment that the Rovers defence managed well. And their team of young upstarts, most of them 25 and under, but one in fact. Can they dare to dream? Fashion a stirring comeback to truly announce themselves on the national stage. Roberts is the player looking most likely. He's put the afterburners on again. But for all the intense and enterprises run showed the pass, looking the same requisite quality.
Amelia O'Brien. You come and collect your prize at the merchandise table, or someone from the club will be in contact.
Winning raffle ticket is being announced over the PA system. Unfortunately for Rochedale, Mitch Roberts did not have it that time. Skew whiff from the 23-year-old. Speaking of live wire players, SD Raiders getting ready to bring on one of their most exciting substitutes in Robert Eramugo. Mihail Marcic will be the other player to enter the field. So two fresh faces you would expect in attack.
For Southern Districts, coming off, number 17, Martin Fernandez, replaced by number 37, Robert Eramugo.
Marty Fernandez, who make way. So a bit of a re-shuffling of the pack for Goran Laboya. Charlie Ragg will drop into fullback. And the substitution for Rochedale Rovers sees DeAndre Vollenhoven, the
substitution for
South African attacker,
Rovers,
onto the field.
Number 11, Novak Klajic, replaced by number 10, DeAndre Vollenhoven.
Replaces Novak Klajic. Straight into the action. There's the South African, that's offside. So that storm tackle from Luka Knežević. Renata Little. Comfortable though it was for 17-year-old Aidan Courtney, who's acquitted himself very nicely. It's the touches you want to see from a substitute in DeAndre Vollenhoven. We're back in the side for the first time since the 6th of June last Friday when they went down to Brisbane Roar's B team. Showed plenty of sharpness there. Confirmation. Robert Eramugo and Mihail Marcic, as mentioned, the two players on for SD Raiders. Roberts on the run again. The touch was heavy. It afforded all the opening Michael Figueira needed to head that thread off at the pass. He's looking the player most probable for the boys from Underwood Park. Eramugo, the League One Player of the Year with Rydalmere Lions, New South Wales 3rd tier last year, from which SD Raiders were promoted. 18 goals last season, just the 2 in the league for him this year. Mihail Marcic, a man whose goal against the Mariners in the promotion relegation playoff sent SD to the top flight, the other who's come on. Bit of fancy footwork from Charlie Ragg. 14 minutes now. Towards tension time for either side. SD Raiders to see out what would be a first national stage win. Rochedale to force an extra 30 minutes of football. Mind you, if they get one, it would still be time enough for a second. Ashton upended. The whistle does not arrive. Underwood Park disappointed about that. And now it arrives against them. Knežević comfortable. And Owen Ashton of Rochedale Rovers joins Sebastian Malfara in the book. I understand Ashton's frustration. He felt that he was fouled. Before that, as it's towards Cox Barlow. His header wide in the end. There have been good value for a late show this season, Rochedale. It's up a lot of goals in the final 15 minutes of matches. 13 of the 41 they've scored this year have come in the final 15 minutes. Another late show. Set us up for more football potentially. Alexenko. It's a gap, but it's a gap where only white shirts with a willing customers. Eramugo. Can't get much of the football to substitute. Moreland. Roberts trying to turn the Jets on again, but that time the pass left him with a little bit too much work to do. Even if it is not the result, which is still very much an open question. Rochedale have not disgraced themselves one bit in their arrival to Australia's spotlights. Plenty of impressive football. Who's watching on in the Tom Vance stand will be pretty impressed with what they've seen. Tom Vance, him in a second. Cox Barlow coming forward, looking to seal it for the Raiders. Still Cox Barlow, support found in the form of Robert Eramugo. Ashton wants the danger clear. McGrath. Rag, a third you feel would seal it for SD. You won't find one with passes like that. Eramugo, another poor moment, and that has released Roberts. Figuera, well positioned. Roberts may feel that the Raiders custodian went down a little easily. Mackenzie Janes his whistle in favour of Michael Figuera. This time he does keep the ball in play from the long launch, really to the long-term advantage of any teammates. Courtney rides the challenge nicely. Composure beyond the years of the 17-year-old who received from Vollenhoven. And loses out in the end. Knezovic under pressure from Vollenhoven. Really played with some intent either side of that moment they'll wish to forget in the second goal that was turned into their own nets. Right, return and pass from Ashton. Moreland with options available in the middle. Left-footed delivery. Roberts just couldn't reach it. Continuing to close. And he is shaping as the chief culprit. Showing plenty of fight. Tom Van Stand is in full voice now. It would have been in raptures had Mitch Roberts been able to make something of that. Tom Vance, the founder of Rochedale Rovers 54 years ago, found them a field in a cow paddock, or what was a cow paddock, behind the Glen Hotel in Queensland. That's the way last year. He'll be looking down, smiling on the fight his club is showing right now. As they come forward, lovely ball through for Talbot, who is robbed of it by some fantastic full stretch defending from James Letter. You can feel something building at Underwood Park. The Raiders know they're going to have to hold on for their win. Unless they can seal it in transition. Mako went for glory. The stoppage here. So now treatment for Seb Malfarah. Open the door for a couple of fresh faces from Rochedale. You can see a couple of subs stripped, but seemingly ready to be imminently introduced. Made reference to the fact that the Raiders are still managing a couple of players return to injury. Slip Malfarra is one of those. In his first appearance since late June against Blacktown at the weekend. Here comes the double sub.
Substitution for Rochedale Rovers
graduates off.
Number 12, Aidan Courtney, and replaced by
and a couple of young talents in, the first of which, 18-year-old Boston Webber.
Replaced by number 16, Boston
Made
Webber.
his senior debut for Rochedale as a 16-year-old last year in FQPL. Will Harworth, the other player, comes in, another who debuted for Rochedale the last couple of years. Matthew Lee.
Moving off, number 21, Sebastian Malfarra, replaced by number 15, Matthew Lee.
For SD Raiders. So how do those substitutes shuffle the balance at Underwood Park? There is still time for the home side, but they are running low on it ever increasingly. For more chances present, perhaps. Moreland. Auburn Plyach. Marshalled by SD Raiders defensive units. Plyach is a bit too hot and heavy on the back of Luka Knezovic, who positioned his body cleverly. Nerves setting in at Underwood Park. SD Raiders getting close to round of 32 redemption. So exiting at the first hurdle next year, albeit to a A-League opponent. Rochedale running out of time to make something out of their opening bow. Big switch, Eramuga with a fantastic leap. Fox Barlow able to do the same. Charlie Ragg. Back to Robert Eramuga. Many talents. Robert Eramuga, also a musician with the name Mugo. A couple of tracks on Spotify this year. Forward by Figuera. Drops for Cox Barlow. Holds his time nicely. Every second shoot away a valuable one for the Raiders. Lee. Is it Underwood Park or no? Approaching a time where caution must be thrown into the wind. It's the 6 previous NPL, Queensland and New South Wales meetings in the Cup. Only ever had one go to extra time. It's the last one won by a Queensland side back in 2024. Olympic FC getting a 1-0 win against Apia in extra time, courtesy of Lyndon Farr. In football to take the air out of the Rochedale balloon. Good music to the ears of Goran Laboya, their head coach. It was just in need of another gear in the final minutes. Roberts keeps it alive, but not too much more. Able to rip it in mid-life And that is enough to win a throw for Rochedale. Queensland's 16th club in the round of 32. Time. They're going to be the 8th to exit at the end of their first game. Dern. Comes to Horwood. A lot of options presenting themselves in midfield, so wide Dern hands for Harworth. Pushing hard is Austin Weber. The Raiders rise to the challenge. Cox-Barlow chased to no avail. Really nice work in midfield from Talbot. Now Boston Weber, the teenager. This is out to a triumvirate of Raiders markers. Stoppage time approaching. It is delicately in the balance. Both teams have made their own history this evening with the first ever Australia Cup goal. Each one looking to create more by reaching the round of 16. At this stage, the Raiders are the team on course. Have Rochedale got in reserve. Talbot's taken off his toes by Mako. And wide
There will be
heads
a minimum of 4 minutes of time added on.
4 minutes of additional time. Now a third would really seal it for Raiders. Roberts left himself in the foot race all night tonight. He'll do it again, and Mako makes a professional foul that has gone down like a lead balloon in the center circle. Produce a card about which Thomas Mako can have very little in the way of complaints. But have the kind of prize that's at stake to defend as SD Raiders do. Sometimes dirty work is simply what has to be done. And interestingly, only Dern for his reaction to this tackle, agricultural one at that from Thomas Mako, who's the Rochedale captain. Free kick taken quickly by Rochedale, lifted in by Moreland, headed up and well gathered by Figuera. Courageous goalkeeping. Desperate to just throw himself into the pack and make the football his own. Flick forward to Cox-Barlow. The Raiders head for the corner. Try to, Knezovic couldn't keep it in play to some more seconds away. Getting awfully dicey now for Rochedale. They are leaving their run late. Is there the latest of late drama on offer at Underwood Park? Boston Weber. Dern. Sends Eramugo for a short trip. Curb rising behind a brewing attack. It's a decent ball in, headed towards goal by Roberts. But off targets. Figuera will suck the seconds away as we step into the final minutes of this round of 32 tie. SD Raiders, they wanted to go on the road. They wanted to travel. Ascor and Luboya, what he'd like to see in a potential round of 16. They want to go potentially on the road again. That's a nice step inside from Marcic. But he put the seal on it. Great save from Borjan. And the Raiders get a corner in the final knockings. They are just about there. The boys from Ernie Smith.
Higher! How long extra, James?
Mikhail Marcic being very little rush. Heads into the corner for Mako. Will hold the ball up. Every second precious for SD. Gordon Luboya's men. They wanted a trip away with a win. And it is the away day
Well, that
dreams
is
for the SD
unfortunately
Raiders.
full time here at
Who in the
AIS
second
Arena.
time
Final
asking win
score,
their first Australia Cup
Rochedale
game.
1, Southern Districts 2. Congratulations to the Raiders for advancing to the next stage of the Hahn Australia Cup.
And the story
Just a reminder,
ends for
everyone,
Rochedale on the
Rochedale
first
and
hurdle
Hillman
despite
are
their
back
best
in
efforts.
action
Full
this
time,
Saturday,
Rochedale
taking
1,
on Brisbane
SD
City
Raiders
at
2.
AIS Arena. Kickoff is scheduled for 5 p.m. We hope you enjoyed the match. And
Well,
thank you
it's
for your
a
participation and support at the Hahn
Day
Australia
of
Cup.
delights.
Please take
All
care,
smiles
exceed
in the
the
Sunshine
remember,
State for
state
SD
staff
Raiders,
are here to help should you require any assistance.
who after
Thank you once
tasting
again,
the
everyone, for
sting
coming
of an
out.
early
Good
Australia
night.
Cup exit last year, have atoned and how. Luka Knežević got them on their way with a first ever Cup goal before a Novak Klajic own goal was the goal that ultimately proved the difference, but it is a heartbreaking end to Rochedale Rovers round of 32 debut. Harry Talbot pulled one back from the spot to make up for an interesting final 20 minutes, but it was not to be, despite having acquitted themselves so well, Rochedale, in their opening bout. And the highlights from this game will reflect just how hard the side from the Sunshine State did push, but they were powerless to stop this pinging effort from Luka Knežević that set SD Raiders on their way to the round of 16. As an absolute beauty, brilliant knuckle. And despite Rochedale creating the better of the first half chances, they took their moments and doubled their money quickly in the opening seconds. A dangerous corner delivery from Sebastian Malfara, just catching Novak Klajic unaware. Worst look away of his nights, this time in a Rochedale shirt. But the Rovers rallied. They really did go for it. Mitch Roberts' lightning pace was a threat for SD Raiders all night. He won the penalty, which Harry Talbot duly dispatched. And while it did give Rochedale Rovers a chance to chase in front of their home crowd, it was ultimately a hurdle that proved too high to clear, but they will exit at the first hurdle very proud indeed. The stat count does favour SD Raiders, doubling the shot count of Rochedale. They did have more final third entries, Raiders. They started to have more transitional threat in the second half, but the 6 shots that the Rovers did have were a couple of high quality looks that needed to be saved from Michael Figuera. A game between two teams in the lower tiers of their respective NPL, and both have left with plenty of pride. It is just ultimately SD Raiders who leave with the desired results at the end of the 90. But it was a very dramatic and entertaining fair to start off the Australia Cup, and you can see it was a clean sweep for New South Wales across the opening evening. RP Leichhardt getting the job done against Peninsula Power. So 2 Queensland clubs are out, but another makes their way in for the first time ever. Cairns makes its long-awaited return to the Australia Cup as Marlin Coast Rangers host Victorian side Brunswick Juventus, while FK Beograd welcome the Australia Cup debutants from the 3rd tier of Victoria, North Sunshine Eagles, to the home of White City. So plenty to look forward to tomorrow night and across the rest of the round of 32. But here at Underwood Park, it is the visitors who return home with a berth in the round of 16. Thanks for your company tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. It is SD Raiders going through at the expense of the Rochedale Rovers.